Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Anderson, and today I'll be presenting the value of feedback in language teaching, more specifically corrective feedback. And so when we're referring to language teaching, in general, it could be considered instruction in any language under any condition, whether it's formal or informal. But since our focus here is applied linguistics, we're more so referring to teaching English as a second language and how corrective feedback is important in that area. And so feedback, what we consider, is a teacher and peer response to the learner's erroneous second language production. And we feel like this is worth doing because it results in language acquisition. And what we'll discuss later on, the preferred corrective feedback will be metalinguistic feedback and elicitation, depending on the level of the learner. Next slide. Alright, so when referring to the significance of corrective feedback, we must understand that it does require a teacher's response, which is wanted by the learner because the learner wants to check to make sure that what they are saying is understood and that they can understand what's being said as well. And it is also significant because it prompts learner uptake. And learner uptake is a response from the learner. So we want to get the learner to speak and make sound productions, not just so they can hear, but we can hear. Corrective feedback corrects any erroneous language that's habitual and that is causing an interference in their comprehensibility or their ability to be understood by others. And it just overall supports language acquisition, which is definitely important as far as teaching English as a second language. And here in this presentation, I am claiming that corrective feedback is essential in second language acquisition. So, briefly, let's just review the types of feedback that we discussed in this past week's readings. Is recast, such as, okay, if the learner said, we need job, we as an instructor would say, we need a job, just modeling them the correct way of saying this. But this does not prompt learner production. It simply gives them the correct answer. And so this is okay when the learner is at beginner level, but like I said, we want to prompt them to actually say something. We have explicit correction, which is I would just simply say, no, you should have said, we need a job. Once again, this is great because it helps the learner notice that they made an error, but it doesn't prompt them to produce anything. If I use feedback as far as clarification requests, I can say, excuse me, what do you mean? And this would prompt them to say something because I'm asking them a question, which we would consider this efficient. Also, another great way of feedback, metalinguistic feedback. And this is more so for learners that are intermediate or more so advanced. I would explain to them, you are missing an article in between one of your words, need and job. And so what do you think that article should be? If I want to elicit them to respond to me, I would kind of ask them to kind of fill in the gap. We need blank job. You're missing something here. Or I can repeat to them in a like a question type of way. We need a job, and that would prompt them to give me a response, and maybe it will help them also notice that they made an error here. So, important ideas about corrective feedback that we must recognize is that it indeed affects acquisition, and the type of feedback you give, it can affect it in a positive or a negative way. And so the corrective feedback that we just named, we're going to pinpoint more suggested ways of giving feedback. And as I said earlier, feedback is intrinsically desired by the learner. They're seeking to learn their second language, and so they need to be corrected in an appropriate type of way. Um, the noticing hypothesis, it is a hypothesis created by Richard Smith, and he states that the learner cannot learn the grammatical features of a language unless they notice them. And so they must notice that error has been made, and then that's when you can step in as a teacher and give them corrective feedback. And it's important that we model the expectations that we expect for the learner to produce. We want to display what appropriate speech sounds like and what it looks like, and thus they can know what's expected of them as far as speaking and any other production that they make. We want them to get to a certain point where they are actually self-correcting themselves, where we can help them notice that they made an error and they can go on from there and correct what they may have said wrong, instead of us just recasting the correct answer. So some implications for the future regarding corrective feedback. I'm more so on the side of utilizing metalinguistic and elicitation feedback. And this is because it encourages learners to self-correct. And research has shown that this results in language learning. And also, when giving feedback, you don't want it to interfere with the conversation that you are having unless the errors that they are making is interfering with them being understood. Then you may want to intervene and help them notice the errors that they are making. But only if this error is habitual, it happens over and over again, and like I said, it's interfering with the conversation, then it is appropriate time for you to step in and make that feedback. All right. So that's the end of my show. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.